In this lesson, we'll see how we can use the mental ray cube stand-in geometry. So this node, just like all of the other geometry shader nodes, are something that needs to be applied to some kind of a stand-in piece of geometry. So in our case, we can use something very simple, like a simple polygon plane. And all we have to do is take a look inside the attributes, go to this piece of geometry's main geometry tab, scroll down, and take a look inside the geometry shader. Let's enable the geometry shader. Click on the checker button, and now we can plug in our cube. Alright, now really there are no attributes to be found on this particular shader because really this is just a very simple piece of geometry. So what we should see now, once we actually render this out, is now a cube piece of geometry. So if we wanted to actually reorient this or control the direction of this, all we'd have to do is simply rotate this or move it anywhere that we want, and at render time the geometry will be swapped out and repositioned accordingly. And you can see that's exactly what we get. Now, since this piece of geometry is actually locked away inside the shader, there's really no adjustments we can make as far as the actual geometry that we have. We really cannot do any kind of extrusions or beveling or anything like that. What we can do, though, is if we wanted to give this some kind of a unique material, all we would have to do is actually just assign some kind of a new material to this plane piece of geometry, and then at render time, that will be swapped out and propagated down to our mental ray piece of geometry. Now, if we did want to give this piece of geometry some kind of a beveled look, what we could do is take advantage of something like the architectural material combined with the round corners node, and we actually do have general special lessons dedicated to both of those, so if we were to use something like the round corners, which can give us the appearance of the beveled without actually having to make any adjustments to the geometry itself, we can apply that round corners shader to our placeholder geometry, and you can see at render time how we can actually start to use that node to round out and give these corners the appearance of a little bit of beveling. So that's a look at how we can utilize the mental ray cube geometry shader.